This is GKW. Welcome to another edition of Good Karma Wrestling. And we've got the band back together this week. I'm Gabe Neitzel from ESPN Milwaukee. With me, once again, everybody's skating at full strength from ESPN in West Palm. He is Brian Rowitz. And catch him on ESPN 1000 in Chicago. He is Jonathan Hood. All right, boys, plenty of things to dive into here. Clash of the Castle coming up this weekend for WWE. Forbidden Door is starting to get a little bit more of a clear picture of who and what is going to be on that card. But we begin with the Clash at the Castle, the anticipated match of last time we were at Clash of the Castle. We thought Drew McIntyre was going to walk away as the Universal Champion, defeating Roman Reigns. Obviously, that did not happen. Now he heads in. He's the betting favorite in Vegas over Damian Priest. So the question to you boys is, what percent chance do you give Damian to retain his title and head back to the United States as the WWE World Champion?
Guys, this can't happen again to Drew McIntyre. This can't happen again.
Will he sing American Pie if it does happen, though?
If it does, that will. There's a such thing in wrestling as killing the town. When you have this will kill the country.
Wow. Even though it's a whole new country, right? Isn't this a different country?
It's
yes, we are in a different country. We're in Scotland this time. They were, I can't remember where they were last year, but I mean, yes, but I mean, you would kill the territory, basically, yes.
Yeah, you could kill that whole territory if Drew McIntyre is not the champion. I'm telling you, that's how it's going to work. Like, this has to happen this time. Like, and by the way, besides the funny of that, he's earned it.
Yep,
he's earned it. Everything that he's done, the speculation of whether or not he's going to return, and now got a fresh contract, and he's put in so much work with his personality and his in-ring. Brian, I think it's time. This is no diss on Damian Priest, but it's just a support for a guy that's done a great job in McIntyre.
100% agree. Drew deserves it completely. He, deserved it at Mania and had a brief little moment to play the other side. And I'll say there's about a 10% chance maybe that Priest does retain. I love the reaction of an entire arena hating one person. If CM Punk cost Drew McIntyre on Saturday, there's some heat there, brother.
But this is the main event, right? Like, this goes on last?
It should.
Or is
Cody
AJ,
I
was
quit.
Say, is Cody AJ I quit going to be the main event? Cody Rhodes, obviously the most. I mean, you have to put it on last. Like,
if Drew's winning, you put him on last.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
But if Drew's losing, you don't want to go on. If you're AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes and Drew loses and you lose the crowd, do you want to go on after that?
They'll be excited when they hit the whoa. They'll be right back in it. That's all it takes.
That's all it takes is a whoa.
Yeah, whoa.
That's all it takes. But Gabe, with stipulations like I quit, historically that's been last.
Mm-hmm.
Historically that's been last. However, in the era of Triple H, who knows? Who knows? If so, it's either last or first.
So I'm thinking for other premium live events in which they've gone and gone internationally, and who has so Rio went on last, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In the Elimination Chamber down in Perth. Sammy went on last in Montreal. Bad Bunny did not go on last. Did they do that last? They did not go on last, I believe, which was a mistake.
Yes.
Especially with all the other Puerto Rican wrestlers that they brought out as a part of that match. How it didn't go on last. But it seemed like they had learned from that mistake, and that the main event has been like the hometown hero who's coming back. So Drew obviously was the main event last time. Even though it wasn't Scotland, it was Wales, I believe. For the first Clash in the Castle. So I would think that this would be the main event, but who the hell knows? By the way, I 5% chance.
But, okay.
Like Drew's going over. I don't think Punk will be there to run interference. I just don't think he's going to make the travel.
But that would add to their feud. Like, it would add to the heat ahead of SummerSlam if
it would certainly add to their feud. But I think the incompetence of JD McDonough, of Dirty Dom, and Finn Balor, even though they've been banned from ringside, I think them running out, trying to do something, and then eventually costing Damian Priest to further the dissension in Judgment Day is the way this ultimately ends up.
So I'm going 50-50. That's my prediction. 50-50
That's high.
That Drew has the championship. Yeah, you just can't do this again to this region of the world. You can't do it.
But you're okay. So you're saying you're saying two different things. You're saying you can't do it, yet you only think there's a 50% chance. You think it's a coin flip that Drew's walking away as the champ.
The PLE is Saturday. I'm saying this on Thursday. It could change. I have the right to change.
I always think there's something to the mid-afternoon title change still feels weird. Like Drew winning the title at 4:00 Eastern on Saturday feels odd.
It's not a real world championship, even though it's my world championship. It's nobody else's, but I think that's the world championship. And so, how about this for an idea? What if the I Quit match is the semi-main to the McIntyre match? Could that be a possibility?
Yeah, I think that's what it has to be. I think you put it there. I don't think you kick off the PLE with it.
Yeah, they've only announced 5 matches so far. The 2 world titles, Bayley versus Piper Niven, Sammy versus Gable, and then the women's tag match.
Oh,
yeah, I mean, the I Quit's gonna be like 30 minutes. They're gonna give the I Quit time.
No question.
And that's been 5 is still a little light for the Hunter era PLE. But I'm sure maybe they pick something up on Friday night.
You know what, Gabe? This is wrestling with savings. This is what Triple H does. The light crew, 5 matches. I mean, it's really coupon cutting. It really is. We don't need 40 wrestlers. 10, 12. That's fine. I mean, that's amazing, man. I've never seen this. I've not seen this since going through the old magazines of when they had 4 matches. It would be 3 singles, and the main event would be a tag team match that involved the singles earlier in the card.
Wow.
I mean, that's such a savings right there.
Well, I mean, doesn't it feel like every PLE right now, every non-premium one, is an international flight? So they go with a light crew because that's less people you got to fly internationally. And let's face it, wrestlers don't have the cleanest of records sometimes, and sometimes aren't necessarily allowed to fly internationally.
Yeah, it's usually an issue. Well, then moving it forward, Drew wins. That means it's him and Gunther at SummerSlam. Are you taking it off Drew right away, or are you having Gunther lose that?
Does Gunther need the championship right now?
No, but does he need to lose?
Everybody can lose, brother. Except Goldberg.
Yeah. Bill Goldberg doesn't. Ask Brett.
And Hogan. I mean, everybody can lose. I just know that these will be really good matchups. I will say that I believe that CM Punk will show up in some way, shape, or form. I think he will be there. How does he affect the match? I don't know, but I feel like he's going to be there because it's been very quiet lately with CM Punk.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, it's been very quiet. We have not seen him. I guess the last time we saw him, he just popped up in NXT randomly over the weekend.
Oh,
yes. So
of course,
I'm looking forward to it because I just think that McIntyre is deserving of it. I'm at 50-50 that he's going to be able to win the championship with the arrow pointing up for McIntyre to be able to win this thing. And as you guys laid out, the possibility of Judgment Day even coming further apart at the seams.
How close do we think Punk is, I guess, is the question. Because if we think Punk is close and the world championship already has an opponent, whoever it ends up being, with Gunther, if we think Punk is close and we think it's McIntyre Punk, then McIntyre ain't winning.
Right, because that needs to be SummerSlam. SummerSlam 7 months since Punk got injured. I don't remember what the diagnosis was early.
August at SummerSlam seems like a good time to come back, right?
Right, and that's not going to be a title match.
Well, unless Punk doesn't come back, and that's where Punk costs Drew once again, and then that sets up Punk Drew down the line. A lot of this
short run, that sucks for Drew. So he gets 5 minutes, and now he has 2 months.
No, I don't. Every match doesn't have to have stakes. I just think that.
And Priest Punk, McIntyre Punk does not need stakes. It does not need a championship. Like
Yes.
that is they've already done tremendous storytelling to set that match up whenever it happens. Does not need a championship, which is why I'm saying like Drew, cool. It's completely fine if Drew does not win the championship and his opponent CM Punk at SummerSlam. He's still got a big time match.
Meltzer reported, by the way, that Punk should be ready to go by SummerSlam.
I guess the question is, if not now for McIntyre, when?
Right.
When? Like, this is not Piper Niven. You know, like she's had the opportunity to go home to be able to be in this spot. And by the way, she killed it in the promo, by the way. That's the promo of her life on Friday. Fantastic on her part, because you don't have Chelsea Green talking for her. Like, no, I'll speak for myself. Yeah. And she laid it out. Never mind about the crowd. I listened to her. I thought that was fantastic. But for Drew, if not now, when? I'm not saying that he needs a championship, guys. I'm just saying, like, man, he's deserved it. He's earned it.
How many times is he going to come up short?
Man, you know?
Man, if Punk's going to be ready at SummerSlam, I feel like that almost changes my math and almost changes my answer to the question. I become closer and closer to JHood, and I think it's 50-50 because if Drew wins, he can't face Punk at SummerSlam. Right. And as we know with CM Punk, we don't know when he's going to get injured next. Right. Like you gotta take advantage of these big time matchups right away when he's healthy. It's not like you're going to, we'll build up CM Punk. No, throw him in the fire right away because who knows what's going to go wrong next physically with the guy.
And a Priest win will do wonders for Priest. Like, I feel like this title reign has been largely forgettable. Like, the cash-in was great and all cash-ins will be, but like, what's memorable for this title run? Like, the Judgment Day stuff's good, but like, you can remove Priest and the title from it. So a win over Drew with the fans, rioting, like that'll be memorable.
Yeah, but I will say this, like him, especially with Rhea being injured, him without the championship and nobody with any gold in the Judgment Day, I don't think, again, and it's just a prop that he walks in having that thing on his shoulder, but he has a certain gravitas because he has that on his shoulder when he walks into their clubhouse, when he interacts with anyone backstage. Because when Rhea had that and nobody else, like, it was very obvious Rhea's running things. So now with Rhea out, it's like, well, Damian's running things now because he's the world champion, right? I think that you've needed that. Yes, has it been largely forgettable otherwise? But I don't know if the Judgment Day stuff recently without Rhea would hit as well as it has without him being the world champion.
Brian, I don't have cage match up here. I have a lot of tabs open, but I have cage match. Maybe one of the reasons why that the title reign for Damian Priest has been unremarkable because they don't roll him out there like Rollins was rolling out there. That's the difference. Like,
has he even defended it?
I don't know. Like, he's done great.
No, he had to have. Yeah, he defended it at in Saudi.
But I mean, like on Raw.
Oh, sure.
No,
everybody else in Judgment Day wrestles except for him.
Yeah, I mean that's my thing. Maybe it's unremarkable because he's not out there like Rollins was out there every other week defending the championship or just wrestling.
Yeah, I'm looking through. There's not a lot of it. So like he had Raw with Mysterio that last week.
Yeah.
Before that, it was April.
Oh, come on. That can't be right. Isn't he on the road?
Yeah, he's doing house shows, but not on TV.
Okay. But at least he's active doing. Is he defending the title or just having
and I don't think he did defend it in Saudi. According to Cage Match, he was not on that show.
Oops.
So this is his first real defense.
Damn. So I protect the veteran. Wow. That's what they're doing there. But good promo work, though.
Great promo work.
Put that on YouTube. It's a good promo work. Clip that for short. There you go, right there. I give him credit for that, but I mean they're protecting him. Rollins is out there. The reason why Rollins is on the shelf is because he wrestled all the time. He was the workhorse. Right.
And that was kind of the point of this championship, was to be the workhorse championship. And we haven't had someone
TV. The Liv Morgan segments have been great.
I wonder how many times Cody's been wrestling versus Damian Priest. I mean, that's.
I think you already know the answer.
Oh man! So there you have it.
Wow.
So
all right.
Drew, so now, but if it's Drew, wow, right? Now he's like, finally, I get a chance to have the championship. I can hold on to it for a while, and now I set my sights on CM Punk. Now Damian Priest and like and Gunther and others are going to be vying for the championship. But Drew, social media wise, promo wise, in ring wise, he's at his peak. He's done the best that I've seen in his career.
Yeah.
Other stories we want to talk about today on GKW, we call it the 3 count, the top 3 stories. Brian, what do we have at number 1 this week?
All right, we talked about it. Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre competing for 1 title on Saturday. Cody Rhodes, AJ Styles in an I Quit match for the other WWE World title. But let's expand it to all of pro wrestling. Which pro wrestling world title is most intriguing right now?
Well, the fact that I still can't get over it. He hasn't defended it since April on television.
You got to let it go now. Come on.
And even his title win wasn't actual a match. Like, it was just a cash-in.
This is a clipped second segment. Now, move on. He's still lingering in the number 1 segment.
What are we doing?
He's still there.
I just can't get over it. I am going to say the WWE Championship in AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes is the most interesting to me right now. And again, JHood and I talked about this last week. We were just baffled about just the way that things have gone with AEW. And okay, Will Ospreay swerve? I have no idea what's going on there. So it's not as intriguing, although the promo segments last night have helped build towards Forbidden Door. But I loved the AJ Styles fake retirement. I enjoyed Cody Rhodes waiting for him outside, at like the garage of whatever arena they were at this past Friday, just like taped up, ready to go, just ready to fight AJ Styles. I really enjoy it. It's been a short build. It's been a quick build, but it makes sense to be an I Quit match. And I am most intrigued by that. Even though Cody's going to end up winning, I have enjoyed what they've done with AJ Styles in terms of the storytelling around it.
Would you put any chance AJ wins Saturday? Is that the title change?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I mean, would I be okay with AJ winning? I'd probably be more intrigued afterwards. Yeah. Like the intrigue pretty much ends because the I Quit is, it's one of the matches that you use to blow off the feud. So this feud is over after Saturday. So like after that, then it's up for grabs again. But until Saturday and until tomorrow night, like I think they've done this has been one of the best quick builds that I can think of, because AJ was told he had to go back to the line. The next week he fake retired, and like they had to pull apart last week. Cool, I'm in.
So we're gonna go with Moose from TNA.
Okay.
The system has done a terrific job at TNA being able to put things together. Moose is having the best work of his career right now in TNA. That's not the answer.
I thought you were going EC3, which according to Google, he's the NWA champion. I can't confirm nor deny that.
Moose? No,
EC3, your guy.
Oh, EC3. Oh, the NWA champion. Well, I mean, God, company. So I would agree with Gabe that it's Cody Rhodes, and I think of all the world champions. Now, listen, I can spread it all the way across the board, guys, and Cody Rhodes is doing the best work. Think about it. With AJ Styles, we thought that feud was over, and it's rekindled. We wondered what was going to be the bridge to get to SummerSlam in Cleveland. Looks like they found a way to get AJ Styles back in the mix. We know AJ's going to lose, but the point is, though, is that it's become a nice, hot rivalry. Kind of similar to Nakamura, where it just kept coming back around, and Cody continued to stamp out his competition. So I would say that it's Cody Rhodes at this time. And here's why it's not AEW. The reason why it's not Swerve Strickland is, and the difference between Swerve and Damian Priest and Cody Rhodes, Swerve's in the ring. We've seen him wrestle. We've seen him in matches. But the problem is that there's always this boogeyman over the shoulder of the heavyweight champion. And the boogeyman is Tony Khan. To feel like he's not satisfied with Swerve, so now it's going to be someone else, bruv, that's going to be the champion on Long Island. That should not be the case. If you have a world champion in place, Gabe, let that person cook. I'm still not happy that Samoa Joe's not the champion. Because you had time to be able to tell that story. Samoa Joe, for what he was, character work, in-ring work, he deserved more than just being a transition champion after MJF. He deserved more than that. But whatever reason, whatever is new and fresh, Tony Khan goes to that. I disagree. I think that Will Ospreay could win this championship coming up, even though I don't think it's his time. So that's why Cody is stabilized as heavyweight champion. That title's not going anywhere anytime soon, but it's a hot potato title in AEW, and that's the problem.
See, I agree with all of that. And I think with the Cody thing, the AJ stuff has been awesome. I think it'll be a great match Saturday. I think there's still a lot of what ifs after that, though. Like, honestly, like AJ winning and then having the third match being at SummerSlam might make the most sense right now for that title. But if Cody wins, it doesn't solve the problem of that there's really no other challengers for Cody right now. So I almost project ahead, and I think it is AEW, and I think it is Ospreay winning that title in a couple weeks and then getting to Wembley, which they sort of mentioned last night in the Pac promo. The Owen winner gets a shot at Wembley.
Yeah. Yeah, they announced that when they announced the tournament, because that was the big deal with Bryan Danielson announcing that if Danielson wins, then you could potentially get Ospreay Danielson for the second time around at Wembley.
So that's the thing. Like, yes, I completely agree with what you guys said. Ospreay winning the title at Wembley is the better story. It's the better moment. They are dropping the ball. But I'm, for whatever reason, giving Tony the benefit of the doubt in that maybe there is a better plan and we get something with Ospreay at Wembley that we didn't see coming that comes from the Owen tournament, and then you have all that fun.
You said you're giving Tony the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Has he earned that, or is that just you kind of wishing it?
It might be wishful thinking.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, because again, like Swerve is just going to be a transitional champion too.
Yes,
like if he lose, like it's back-to-back kind of transitional champions where the championship is kind of floating. And again, going back to MJF, it has been a long-ass time for that championship, the AEW World Championship, which we were told was going to be the thing that mattered in that company, for it actually to matter.
Sure.
Right? Like it's been forever, because I still maintain that MJF's title run ultimately was disappointing. And at the fact that at times the ROH World Tag Team Championships were outshining the AEW World Championship was disappointing. That's not to say I'm not excited about MJF, because I certainly am. Thoughts and prayers next week, because he's got to take on Roosh. But hey, welcome back, MJF.
Yeah.
But it's been a long time since that championship has mattered. Like last night was the first time in God knows how long that the championship actually, kicked off or main evented the show.
I'm looking through the list now because I'm just trying to remember all the different title runs and this and that. It feels like Kenny's the last world champ that really mattered.
In AEW.
In AEW, because Hangman winning was a big deal, but during the run, it was like whatever. So Hangman won. He drops it to Punk. So then you have Punk, Mox, no real runs then. Then Mox wins it, vacated, MJF, Joe, Swerve.
The answer is CM Punk is the last AEW champion that mattered.
But that was so short.
The first time.
It was 87 days.
The first, he had 2 title reigns, did he not?
Well, the second one was 3 days.
Yeah, and then the injury. So the first one, because it was so impactful, man. People couldn't wait for CM Punk to return. Right. He returned. Yes, it was short, but the point is that people could not wait. And he had these kick-ass battles, though. The MJF match still resonates in my head, that dog collar match.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. Like you don't get that in American television like that. Not like that. That was a throwback to the 80s. So I love what I saw there. So if we're looking at the champions that mattered, I think that Punk is there. I think. What
Punk's
about Jericho? The first.
Yeah, no. So I mean, again, early, it certainly mattered. Jericho mattered, Mox mattered.
Kenny.
Obviously, Kenny mattered.
That was the first 3. Those all mattered, and then Hangman winning mattered.
Hangman winning mattered. It got the reign wasn't great, but CM Punk winning mattered. MJF initially when he won mattered, but then it just kind of got put on the back burner.
That's all booking. That's all bad booking.
Because the him and Adam Cole storyline ended up taking over, to me, that most of that reign. And I know that was late in that reign, but that was him and Adam Cole was the most memorable thing of the year that MJF had that championship. And again, because it was him and Adam Cole, and it was MJF going out and trying to defend the tag titles by himself and doing all those things. Like, that was more memorable than him having the world championship.
Well, that's the thing. Ospreay as world champion, won't he mask a lot of the Tony booking deficiencies just with the in-ring? And Swerve's on that level. And you guys know, like, my dream was always those two at Wembley. But, like, Ospreay is just at that different level that him going out there and even if it is on Collision, like, who needs a story half the time?
Best AEW show going right now on Saturday night. Collision.
Yeah, so, like, we'll have a him and Matt Seidel world title match on a Saturday night, but at least we'll have an Ospreay match.
That's right. That's exactly right. You want to piss some people off? I wrote down 7 world champions are currently champions.
Okay.
If we think Cody's one, who's 2? Who's 2? Is it Swerve? Is it Priest? Is it Mox, the IWGP champion?
I mean, I feel like the IWGP championship is better placed on AEW television than their world championship. Like, Mox is ahead of Swerve.
So we put Mox 2, Swerve 3, or Priest 3?
Priest 3.
You were just upset that guy's not defending the title. He's just Roman only on TV.
Yeah, but at least he's on TV and he's prominently featured.
So Priest 3, Swerve 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Brian Moose, EC3, or Mance Warner, who just won the Game Changer Championship.
Those are all guys. What about Trick? You put Trick up there?
No. That's 8 championships. Sorry. No. That's an NXT championship. No.
Yeah, we're not putting Mark Briscoe on this list.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, he is. I think he is.
9.
Okay. Now, so again, Cody, Gabe got Mox, which is very strong, by the way, very strong. Mox 2, Priest 3, Swerve 4, 5, Rick. Or
Trick's got to be. Trick's got to be 5.
Got a Cody promo segment this week. They believe high in him.
So we're going Trick 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Mark. Okay. And then now we got Mark Briscoe, Moose, EC3, and Mance Warner.
I mean, you're going to have to tell me about Briscoe, because every once in a while he pops up on my television, and I'm happy when he does. Like when he's doing these trios matches, it's fun. But I'm not watching the Honor Club. Yeah. I'm not watching Honor Club to see, how prominently him as a world champion is being featured on Thursdays.
It's sad, actually. It's sad because he's not on enough.
Well, I think he just had another baby. I think he's very pro babies.
That's good. That's a good thing, right?
Like adding them to his family. Like, I think he had a lot of children. I think he just had another one.
Okay, so I'm going to
Wait, does he have more than like Phillip Rivers?
He might be in that boat.
Does he wear a bolo tie like the former San Diego quarterback? So I'm putting Moose 6.
The fact check here, he just added his 8th child. So
so he's in the ballpark. He's getting close. Might be able to field the baseball team soon.
I'm putting Moose 6. I'm putting Mance Warner 7. I'm putting Mark Briscoe 8 and EC3 9 for the NWA Championship. Is that fair?
That's a prestigious title, though.
What is?
10 pounds
the
of
NWA
gold.
title.
That used to be. That used to be a prestigious championship. I don't know. I'm putting Mance Warner because GCW is traveling every week.
That is true.
And I was there to see it a couple weeks ago. They have their fan base. I was surprised. Game Changer Wrestling, and we just had our guy on, right?
Yes, the GM, Matt Cardona.
Yeah, Brian asked, like, why do you keep going there? He pretty much asked, like,
I mean, he didn't ask it like that. I mean, did he ask the question? Yes. Did he have the sarcastic tone with it? I don't think so.
I think it was.
I'll put it out there. GCW makes more sense to go to than where you're going this weekend.
That's fair. That's fair. I just thought it was interesting because Brian asked the question of all the places you go, why do you keep going to Game Changer Wrestling? So I'm going to put Mance Warner and the pay window at number 7.
All right.
So we listed.
Can't believe the disrespect for the 10 pounds of gold. Flair, Von Erich, Tyrus, they're all up there.
I was waiting for it. He had Tyrus in the back of his mind. He's just like, all right, we've opened the NWA door. When can I sneak in the Tyrus joke? Like you could see it coming from Rowitz. He was just waiting for it, and then he's like, you know what? Now's the time. I'm pouncing.
See, I knew it. The wheels were turning in West Palm. You just knew the wheels were turning, Gabe. He just couldn't do it. I mean, he could have gave me a Jack Briscoe, could have gave me a Ricky Steamboat, could have gave no.
Nick Aldis.
Yeah.
He went Cody Rhodes.
He went straight Fox News for no reason. That's what he did.
You come off the top rope or the first rope like he does.
Unbelievable. I'm glad we
best athletes in the world.
Yeah.
Best athletes in the world. What do we got at number 2?
We learned that Trick Williams is the number 5 champion in the world.
Some free agency news reports out that Ricochet is set to leave the WWE, appeared to be written off of TV on Monday. Which company makes the most sense for Ricochet?
I say this as someone who would love to see him take on half of the AEW roster. They wrote him off so well. I want to see him back in WWE. Like, they did his exit so good. Like, Samantha Irvin leaving, and then, again, McAfee having to do the ring announcements. But, like, it makes sense. Like, if he was – everybody knows that they're together. Like, they've mentioned that in storylines before, going back to the Logan Paul match that him and Ricochet – that Paul and Ricochet had. So, like, you've made those connections before. So, yeah, if Ricochet was going to the hospital, would his fiance not want to be like, hey, sorry, deuces, I'm going to the hospital? It made perfect sense. I love the way they wrote him off. I want him to come back. I want him to try to get his hands on Braun Breaker. Good luck. I doubt that, but like, it makes sense. I feel like he would get lost in the shuffle. He'd be a shiny new toy for 6 weeks at AEW, and I feel like he could get lost in the shuffle where he can still stand out and be someone in WWE. Maybe not who he wants to be. I don't know if he wants to be a world champion. I don't see that in his cards in WWE, but I also don't see him being the AEW world champion if he goes that way. Maybe he wants to go independent and try to do kind of what Matt Cardona has done. And maybe he wants to be the NWA world championship and, move it up on JHood's power rankings. But I think him in WWE, because of the way they wrote him off oddly, somehow makes sense for him to stick around.
When you think about it, I can go along with that. 2 choices. WWE, but with a fresh coat of paint. It can't be the same guy. That's the problem. That's the problem with Ricochet. He's the same guy. He's the same guy at Lucha Underground, except he had a mask, and he's the same guy in WWE. That's the problem. We know you can flip. We know that you're death-defying. Now what? What else do you have? Do you get mad? You ever get angry? Yeah, you ever get frustrated? You ever want to throw chairs around and tables around and just like, screw this, see me for who I am? I never see that from him. It's just him flying through the air. Great. This is what killed Evan Bourne in WWE. Like, just steal guy.
Steal something from Liv. Like the Ricochet Revenge Tour. Like if he comes back to WWE and he doesn't have an edge to him after what Braun Breaker did to him on Monday, then there's just no hope, right? But like if he has an edge to him, which I think he should have if he comes back to WWE, all right, now I'm intrigued. Now I think that's interesting.
So Brian, do you think we should delve into this part of it as well? So what's the problem? Is he mad? Because it's usually money. Is that a money situation? Is it a spot on the card situation? Because lately, he can't go past 3 minutes. That's why he was a speed champion. That's why he was losing matches as speed champions. Like, well, it's past 3 minutes, he's going to lose. I mean, so he's not going to be world champion in that company. He's not. So what's the problem?
And I agree with Gabe also. Like, he's not going to be a world champion in AEW either. But, like, it has to be something about the match thing because we talked a few weeks ago when Ospreay put those comments out about how sad he is watching him in WWE and, like, how Ricochet would take that. But maybe it was Ospreay sort of planning that out there where he's like, hey, like he's upset. Like wrestling on Twitter is not where he wants to be. He is a guy that can follow that Cardona path and make money wherever the hell he wants to go.
But that's the thing. Like, I know he's really good in the ring, but as JHood said, like, all right, hook me with your character.
Sure, and I agree.
Like, that's where he's going to get. That's where he's going to get lost in the shuffle in AEW. AEW's got already has a bunch of ricochets.
Yes,
like my guy Ray Phoenix. Like I get excited every time he's on. He's not on TV all that often.
Right.
Yeah,
but the Ricochet, like the new Ricochet, like you're talking about, like yes, the return against Braun would be amazing. But do you have confidence there'd be more after that, or is he back to Twitter?
I mean, he still will be on Raw or SmackDown. He'll still be on Raw. He's just going to lose matches. Look, Ricochet is similar to what Natalya is now and what Dolph Ziggler was.
Sure.
You're just a mechanic. You're good enough to be able to have some moves, but not good enough to be able to win on a regular basis. But that's because that's on him, though. There's two schools of thought. If you're not going to change who you are besides the moves, then he should be in the independents. Because if he's in the independents, he doesn't have to worry about promos. He doesn't have to worry about personality. It's just the flying. So maybe if he doesn't want to change, or if he doesn't have another gear, maybe he should be in the independents. He could be able to have a good living on the independents, just being him.
Yeah, and some guys are okay with that, like just being like, hey, we're a worker. We're going to go out there. Like when the new guy comes, like I'll put my shoulders on the mat. But some guys get bored by it, and that's for the better. Like look at what Ali's doing. Ali has not taken a loss since he left the WWE, and he's building up that character, and he has a following, and that's awesome for him. And he's a guy that had a ceiling in the WWE. Ricochet's in that same boat, so why not go out there? And yes, he will be forgotten in AEW eventually, but to have an Ospreay match, to have a Ray Phoenix match, and then go do your thing elsewhere as well.
It wouldn't be special. Gabe, it would not be special to me for me to see him in AEW. It's because of what we just talked about. We've seen those matches already.
I don't know. I feel like we're underrating him. I think we've forgotten what Ricochet can do.
Do you not watch?
I just saw Ray Phoenix versus Ospreay on a Wednesday night. You're going to tell me he's going to do better than that? What they just did last night?
I think so.
No,
I think he's
not better than
We're
Phoenix.
so used to him being WWE the last 2 years.
He's not better than Ray Phoenix. He's just not.
What do you mean, Brian?
He was so special before he got under that WWE umbrella. Like that, he was the guy, when you talk about Mania weekend and the indie shows, he was the guy you're like, all right, got to see Ricochet in person. He's lost that. Yes, what he does now is special because it stands out in the WWE world, but I think he's been watered down, and I think that can change if you just sort of let him free.
I from a skill set standpoint, it's the same things we watch on Wednesday nights. Tell me what's different between him and Ray Phoenix. Tell me.
I think he's a step above. Like I think he's just there's something different. Like the way he moves, like as great as Phoenix is, there's something different about Ricochet.
We're fighting. We're fighting. We're no longer friends. I will not stand for this Ray Phoenix slander.
It's not. It's more Ricochet praise. You've seen the watered down version. You're used to seeing that, what we see in the WWE.
No one's making him sit in the ring and do catch can. What do you mean?
But he's doing he's on the same level as Logan Paul right now in the WWE. Like they had that moment in the Rumble. It's great. He's different.
No, yeah. You want to know what the difference is? Logan Paul's interesting.
Yes, he is. I agree with that. I'm just saying, I think wrestling-wise, I think there's another gear. I think that's why he's walking out money-wise even. Like, hey, I'm good. I'm going to go somewhere else now.
And as much as I enjoyed the Samantha Irvin, because again, they're together, that makes sense that she would have that. She's been the most interesting part about him in WWE.
Sure.
Anytime somebody's had a feud with him, again, the feud, the best feud that he has had was with Logan Paul. And Logan Paul didn't go after him. No, he went after Samantha Irvin because he knows that that's the more interesting thing in there. Because, Ricochet doesn't have a personality, man. You got to show me something. And I think for Ospreay, the biggest question for Ospreay, I would say a year to 18 months ago, before he was coming to AEW, it's okay, we know you can do everything in the ring, and it's spectacular. Do you have a personality? Can you cut a promo? And he's been able to prove that he can over the last 12 months, where he is now interesting. He's got stepkids, bruv. So he's made himself interesting through promos that Ricochet, I haven't been interested in anything Ricochet's actually had to say in God knows how long. And that's not on, I don't put that on Hunter. I don't put that on WWE. Ricochet, you got to come up with something, man, because there's other people who are interesting in that company. It's not just a company full of boring people.
No, I agree with that, because I do think this current WWE, he wouldn't be a Dean Ambrose. Like, he's someone, when we see Moxley get a mic now, it's like, how did you ever script this guy? Like, that makes no sense. I agree with that. And when you're not given a chance to sort of prove yourself, I think it hampers things and just sort of holds you down. So that's why I just think there's more out there.
The glasses are coming on.
The glasses.
Glasses are coming on. Okay, let's do this right now.
Okay.
The whole idea like he's just like one of one. That's not fair and it's not true. Like you know why? Because other wrestlers, independent and AEW, have gotten the cheat code. They've got exactly what all right, so tell me this. Ricochet or AR Fox?
Ricochet.
They do the same things. AR Fox. You watch more AR Fox matches than anybody on this show.
Yes, love the guy. I've watched him plenty of pancakes and pile drivers. He's not Ricochet.
Bandito.
That one's close, and I think we forget about Bandito, but Ricochet.
Close.
Brian's starting to sweat this segment out after the second guy. Because I will agree, AR Fox not as good as Ricochet, but now the fact that you got to somebody, you could tell Brian's getting a little nervous.
Forget about Bandito.
AR Fox does the same things, and actually more than Ricochet. He does. He does.
Ricochet's a different speed. Like, there's a different height he gets on stuff.
All right, Dante Martin.
Ricochet.
Wow.
Yes.
Pac.
Ricochet.
Phoenix.
Ricochet.
No,
Matt Sydal.
Ricochet.
They do the same things, man. I don't know what you're watching. Same moves.
There's more flips, there's more turns, there's more height, there's more speed. Like,
then
we are forgetting. Yes.
Then Pac.
That's why Ospreay said what he said a few weeks ago, because Ospreay flat out said, like, Pac and Ricochet are the guys he models himself after, because he puts him in that upper echelon. He puts him in a different class. He didn't mention AR Fox or Bandito or Sydal. He specifically said Ricochet is the guy I model myself after, and it's sad watching him work Twitter matches. Like, he said it for a reason, and part of that might have been negotiating, but whatever. Good on him. Free Ricochet.
Ospreay. Oh, Ospreay is better than
So wait, so in your rankings, it's Ospreay 1, Ricochet 2?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm telling you that there's nothing that's different between all the people I mentioned, especially Bandito. I could go to luchadors too. All the luchadors there. I mean, that's one of them, Bandito.
Yeah, Bandito. We're gonna ignore Gabe because I don't know where to put Vikingo on that one. I might put him above him.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right, I can put Vikingo at 2.
Now, Vikingo's more smaller, compact.
Right, yeah.
People do, but the point is, though, is that he's not special, Brian. I mean, he does the same things that these guys do. I can find guys on the independents in your area, in Gabe's area, my area, that do the same thing, if not better.
I can't wait for him to be in both of your matches of the week from Ring of Honor once he's free and leave the
Ring
WWE.
Of Honor.
Yes.
You're even making our point for us. You're already putting him in Ring of Honor.
That's Tony's fault. That's not Ricochet's fault. That's Tony's fault.
Action Andretti.
Ricochet.
Okay.
Same guy. Same. They're the same.
That Bandito Ricochet ROH title match in Dallas. Sign me up.
I just don't understand. I mean, all these guys doing these flippy moves. I mean, some are more special than the others. I get that. But I'm just telling you that you have a group of guys that are doing it better than Ricochet's doing it. And Ricochet's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah. We're going to free him, and he's going to do it again.
I like the Vikingo pull's very solid, though.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm here for, boys. What do we got at number 3?
It was announced last night, July 24th, Blood and Guts, the Elite versus Team AEW, 5-on-5. The Elite tried to recruit Swerve last night, but didn't go their way. So get the pencils out. Fantasy book, Blood and Guts.
So it seems like, I guess we start with Team AEW, right? Because Swerve Strickland would presumably be on Team AEW. You
imagine that's how he drops the title? Like the Elite cost him?
It's possible.
And then he still has a storyline to transition into afterwards. Like, I'm pissed at the Elite.
Yeah. So he chases after that instead of chasing after the title.
Yeah.
I mean, the Acclaimed came out for the save. Are they like Are they on Team AEW already?
Do you want to see them on Team AEW?
No. Well, Owens, yes. Caster, no.
Billy,
Yeah,
yes.
I'd be in for Billy. I'd be in for Billy.
Yeah.
Billy, I'll tell you what, for being in his 50s, Billy does a hell of a job.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say that. I will ask you this, though, because I'm looking at the history of Blood and Guts. This will be since the fifth annual of Blood and Guts. I was wondering, could this be something that is Young Bucks? Is there a possibility? Could this be Don Cal's family against someone? Because that's another thing that's going on there. I mean, I know he doesn't have much of a family lately. I'm just wondering if there's something with him that he could be involved in this somehow.
Unless some of his guys get added to the Elite.
Yeah, I mean, he would have to loan one of his guys to the Elite because the Elite just need one more because they've got the Young Bucks, they've got Jack Perry, and they've got Okada.
And maybe
I guess you could put a Takeshita in there.
Takeshita, yeah, that works. I was just wondering because to me it becomes like the same match. It becomes Anarchy in the Ring. I just want to know who's the opponents and who is Team AEW, by the way. Who are they?
That's the weird part. Like you mentioned Anarchy in the Arena, like is this 5 new guys or if it's like, FTR being injured obviously changes things.
Those guys are all losers, couldn't represent AEW correctly. Okay. We got to get 5 fresh guys in there.
Noted. Okay.
Yeah, because we already got the Blackpool Combat Club and Pac in the Blood and Guts match in Boston at July. Are we running that back? Is BCC backing it again? Like, are they Team AEW? That's not defined of exactly who they are. When we have these rivalries, it's like going back to like Team WCW. Well, it was led by Sting, right, against the NWO. Or there's a lot of other examples of that, of just like, a certain faction against someone else. Dudes with attitudes in WCW. Like, it was Junkyard Dog and, like, I don't know, Sting, Tommy Rich, Paul Orndorff. But you got to have people that's like, it's clearly defined. We are supporting the company against them. And I don't know who that is on the AEW side. That's why I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, some of the names I wrote down. MJF.
It was kind of unclear. Yeah. It was kind of unclear, like, the first time, too. Like, they just kind of hodgepodged everyone together. And, like, okay.
Well, based on the speech that was made by MJF a couple weeks ago, isn't he like the lone wolf?
Right. But he's Team AEW. He got the tat on him.
I was about to say, he's got a poker chip with the AEW logo tattooed on his lower leg. He's clearly Team AEW.
Said he wasn't a babyface or a heel, not part of the tag team thing anymore. He did say this, right?
Yes.
So
I'm guessing he steers clear. Again, I think Strickland is in. I think the Acclaimed is in.
All 3?
Yeah.
Ugh. That doesn't do it for me.
That's fine. I'm just telling you, they're the ones who came out for the save for Strickland.
You're
so
right.
It seems like if they're coming out for the save, that they would be Team AEW.
Right. No, I think you're right.
You can tolerate this, Brian, because it's on Dynamite. If this is a pay-per-view,
if you had to pay $50 for this,
you'd be pissed off.
But they're doing a lot of lead time. I mean, it's almost a month and a half of build-up. July 24th is when they're doing this.
They're trying to get tickets, brother. Trying to get people in the building. Where is this? This is Nashville, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to the Predators Arena. Mistake. Too big. They should go to the auditorium or like the small arena where TNA used to be. I think that's where they should be. They're again going way too far with this huge arena. Smaller. You could have put it in someplace smaller for this event.
Is there someone out there we're not thinking of that we don't see every week that could be a part of this team and make it a big deal?
Oh man, this roster, man. Holy cow.
Like, do we rule out Kenny?
Rule out Kenny. Like, I'm just trying to think of who would make sense. Who's been like gung-ho AEW. And those people are out right now. Kenny.
Yeah.
Copeland.
Keith Lee. You guys are out.
Darby.
Yeah.
I mean, Darby already came back once for this.
So do you just lean on, like, in case of emergency and just throw Mox in there?
Or Mark Briscoe?
I mean, I don't know.
You know what, Gabe? Here's the problem, Brian. Here's the problem. You know why we're scratching our heads and trying to figure out who this is? Because not enough people are over.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I have the roster in front of me. There's plenty of guys that can fill the bill. But the problem is nobody's over. It's just wrestlers. And this is what happens when you book this way. That's the problem. Like, there's so many people that can be able to put on a really good show. But once they're on Dynamite for this thing, it's like, well, where do you go from there? That's the question.
I agree. I mean, I think that's why, like, Mox, Brian, like, it's like, all right, we've sort of seen this. The one that I would throw out there that I think could intrigue and add to it, the Elite need a man. Could that be Hangman?
Sure. Well,
I assume Christian.
Yeah. I mean, to do what? On which side? Team AEW?
No, the Elite side. Because he went to them again. Yeah. You know, they told him they were going to get him another World Championship match.
Hangman, at least there's intrigue. There's a heel turn. There's him and Swerve stuff again. I think so.
I'd like to know who's Team AEW just overall. Who's right? Because I'm not asking for the Elite to grow like the NWO with 15 members. Right. I'm not asking that. I just like to know on the other side who is against them, besides Swerve, a handful of people.
That's the problem. Like, there's no carryover from the last team. Like, the last team has basically moved on. I mean, FTR is hurt. Darby is hurt. Danielson's moved on to other things. Like, it doesn't seem like there's any carryover from Team AEW from the previous. So there's like nobody to carry that torch. Like, I need to know that someone on this team is ride or die AEW, and they've been in this thing since the beginning. They can't stand the Elites, and that hasn't been the thing if you want to continue this Team AEW storyline.
Yeah, like, there's no sting, like one of you guys said, where it's like the face of the company. Like, that's why it feels like it's Mox.
Okay. All right. Does he have time between here and Japan to be able to stop by and do Blood and Guts? You're relying on the same people, by the way. You're not growing. You're just relying on the same 10 or 12 people.
Can Mox be bleeding during this match?
Blood and Guts, pal.
All right, then he can find time. Yes, correct. Then he'll find the time.
Blood and Guts. And the other thing is, too, is like, we can throw out any names, but you got so many wrestlers. Yeah. Like, you want to see Kyle O'Reilly in this match? No.
Not really, no.
Exactly. You got a lot of wrestlers. Hey, let's put Mark Davis and Mark Quinn. Let's put those guys in the match. You know?
Dustin Rhodes, he bled last night. He'd fit in.
Dustin Rhodes, boy.
He really hates Jack Perry.
So much so, he takes on Johnny TV on Saturday night. And I'm like, what's he still doing in the ring? Can we move on? Nope, he's got a mic. And he can't breathe. He's spitting up right in front of everybody. Cannot breathe. It's like, ooh, I'm so old.
I mean, sort of from that department, is it going to end up being Christopher Daniels?
No. Like that. No, it can't be him anymore. He's at the end. Unless he's going to have that gimmick where he was like the hot, spicy guy.
Curry Man?
Yes. If he's Curry Man, yes, I'm in. That was over. I loved him.
Where was that over?
In TNA.
That doesn't count. That's a whole other world.
Curry Man.
Could you imagine the little Curry Man while they're doing Blood and Guts? Him moving around doing a little dance for you?
Like, I try to think of like AEW originals, and I'm coming up empty, man.
Yeah.
Well, that's just
July 24th. Buy your tickets now.
Who believes in Tony Khan? Who believes in the company that you don't want to deal with the Young Bucks and Okada and Jack Perry? Because those are the bosses.
Right.
Yep.
You know, that's what it comes down to. And so that's hopefully between now and then, it'll be clearly defined for AEW.
Big hopefully there.
Yeah, lock them big hopefully. What do we got news notes this week, Brian?
Right, we will start. There's Curry Man, if you're watching on YouTube. Some big wrestling news for SWG, better known as Solid Wrestling Ground in Uganda. Cody Rhodes has taken to social media to announce he will be purchasing a new ring for them. Will Ospreay, Jordan Grace in the past have donated money as well. Mason Mansour actually made an appearance over in Uganda.
Just a really good thing for Cody to be doing. It's makes a ton of sense. He's the champ. He's got enough money to send a ring over there. Go ahead and do it. It's a good thing. It's a great story.
My hope is that they can get this done. I know there's been some controversy as of late about money that's been sent to Uganda. Yeah. Hopefully, and by the way, this will not be on a barge or some ship. Apparently, there's someone that can build it for them, a good sturdy ring. So that's the hope. And then hopefully they'll have some house shows over there. So I've been seeing some of this stuff. It's pretty funny, actually.
It's really good. They've done a great job on social media. Ospreay says he wants to go out there.
Uh-huh.
There's the Curry Man dance.
Yes, go right ahead. You were saying?
Some big news. We're living now in a better America. Coming out today, Hulk Hogan has launched a Real American beer. It's an American-style light lager launching in 17 states. And according to the Hulkster, quote, "I've got a beer that's going to bring America back together." Welcome to a new America, guys.
I would have whatever Curry Man is making.
He's still on.
Then whatever beer Hulk Hogan is shilling.
Okay.
If the Hulkster is shilling it, I'm passing on it.
But he said he's making America better. He said it's uniting everyone. No?
No. It's got to be available everywhere first. Like, you're not going to be able to get that?
Starting here in Florida, of course. Florida leads the way in everything.
Yeah, it leads the way in everything. You're right about that. Florida leads the way. Yeah. You're right about that.
And stuff.
The hope is that we'll have the Hulkster on to talk about the beer.
Yeah.
He's going to be a guest. Hopefully he'll be a guest on the program to talk about his beer. And by the way, listen, Hogan's name is still relevant because of the WWE. They still pop him on like he's going to come down the ramp at some point. He's not coming down the ramp at some point. So he's got a beer. You got Woo Energy from Ric Flair. Just keep building on the name. Sure. Yeah,
it's like their paychecks.
Hogan can come on the show and spin some yarns. Tell some lies.
These guys don't know how to give it up. They like paychecks. Speaking of older wrestlers, Sabu on Conversations with the Wrestling Classic was talking about his final match. He says RVD would be too obvious. So, quote, "Maybe Matt Cardona in an explosion match when the time is right." Cardona tweeted with an eye emoji about the headline of this story.
Probably on Game Changer, more than likely.
Yeah.
Probably on Game Changer. That's fine. Here's the thing. Matt is gung-ho about anything.
Yes.
Yep.
Matt's
gung-ho on anything if he thinks he can make money. Can he make money with Sabu and Sabu's retirement match? Hell yeah, brother.
He's a good dude, man. Matt Cardona's like, I don't care if I win or lose, just pay me. I just need to be able to take care of my Orlando home, keep it filled with good water for the pool, keep Chelsea happy. I'm all good. I don't care what you do with me. He came to AEW just to take on Edge. Yeah, Copeland. And it's like, hey, you know what? I don't care if I win or lose. I'm in the ring. I got a paycheck. I'm moving on to the next date. Good for him.
Sabu turned 60 in December, by the way. So look forward to him in an explosion match.
Well, when you watch him, you can't tell how old he is because he's been moving slow for about.
You got to set the bar, set the expectations. He knew what he was doing. Finally, in news and notes, Sean Ross Sapp reporting Jeff Hardy set to be a free agent as of tomorrow. Brother Matt already a free agent.
Good for them. Look, man,
What's the matter, Gabe? Curry Man's on. Just be happy.
I don't want to be disrespectful to the Hardys.
Okay, this feels disrespectful.
But I'm done with them.
Yeah.
I think they've had their run, man. It was great. Their run was great. They don't move like they used to. And it's not like, I see, not that I've sat down and watched TNA, but apparently they're going back to the Hardy compound and deletion matches. And dude, that was great when you first came up with it. I don't know why we're going back and recycling it now. It just feels like it was something that had its moments, doesn't have its moment anymore. Maybe it pops a number, does something good for TNA. I don't know. I mean, honestly, it revived Hardy's career. It put those two back on the map. They end up going back to WWE, doing all the things that they did there. It's over, man. It's over.
The reason why that they're going back to that is because Matt Hardy's in TNA, and TNA have no more ideas.
Yeah.
That's why. They have no more ideas, Gabe. I'll tell you something about TNA. I watched TNA last week because it was their 20th anniversary. Can you imagine this company that's been on death's door for many years as just
for 20 years?
They defy logic. It really is impressive.
They've been on death's door since day one. They've been able to avoid it. It's been fantastic. It's amazing.
That's not unfair. It really has been on his death's door for 20 years. You're still living. They're a wrestling miracle.
Yeah.
And so 20th anniversary, you know what they did, guys? You know what they did? They had a show. They brought TV to Newton, Kentucky. Of course, they called it Cincinnati, but it was Newton, Kentucky.
It's a different state.
I watched both hours of the show. Some of the stuff's good. I'm going to go to TNA Against All Odds on Friday here in Chicago, so I'm going to check it out for our staff here. But the point is, though, is that they didn't mention anything about TNA's anniversary the past, not one time. Not one video package of Jeff Jarrett, Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff, Nash and Hall, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Kurt Angle. They had all these guys. Not one mention, not one package from TNA to say thank you for surviving and dealing with us for 20 years in our bullshit. Not one thank you.
They need their social media guy to run their TV, is what it sounds like.
It's so bad. So in other words, you've been on the air for 20 years, somehow, some way, through all the channels, Pluto channel and Outdoor channel. And I believe at one point they were on the TV Guide channel, if you remember this. I believe they were on TV Guide, Soap, whatever that was. They've been everywhere. You can't take the hat off and say, hey, over 20 years, and here's all the highlights and all the great stuff that you've seen. The Asylum days and the days we're on Fox Sports Net during the day after school and all this other stuff. And when we were just pay-per-view only every Wednesday. Can't do that, huh? Not one thank you. And I said, this place is just the shits. Not one thank you of a nice package. And they've had everyone run through there. Everyone's been there. And, of course, they're still living.
Here we are.
It's crazy. And so that's why they're doing the compound thing, because they have no other ideas.
Good for them.
What
did you boys have down for your matches of the week?
Well, Kazarian against Nick Nemeth was one of my matches of the week from last Thursday on TNA Impact.
That's the other thing. There's an identity crisis. I still don't know what to call them half the time.
Their show's called Impact, but they're TNA again.
Oh, okay.
Makes sense, right? And by the way, keep firing people. That's good too, because they let it go a few more people in the front office. So just keep doing that. So that's one of the matches. Obviously, guys, seriously, I could not wait to see Braun Breaker against Ilya Dragunov. Could not wait to see that matchup. Holy cow. But so combative, so strong, so physical, and led into the Ricochet thing. But those two in the ring is fantastic to me.
Yeah, they've been treating them well. Here's another Impact one.
Well, just quickly on that. The other thing, and one of the things I like that Triple H has done, again, it's just a subtle thing. The fact that Michael Cole is talking about, because I didn't see it, I don't watch a ton of NXT, but the fact that Michael Cole brings up their NXT past, too many times under Vince, when somebody came up from NXT, I don't know if Vince just assumed that they watched the show or there's just no reference of anything that's happened in their past within the same damn company. So to already set the bar of Michael Cole telling me, hey, these two are heated rivals. They've had this thing going on for a long time. It's now renewed up here on the main roster on Monday Night Raw. It adds to the feel and the anticipation of the match when it actually arrives.
Yeah. I think they acknowledge things like that we've mentioned a lot, like the changes and the fact that they acknowledge it's not just Monday nights. Like it adds to everything. And those two, they've actually been developing them. Like we've seen so many times guys get called up to NXT and they're awful and it just completely crushes them. They waited a long time to call Braun up, but it seems to be paying off right now.
They're making him a monster. They're making him a monster.
Absolutely.
I love it. I think that the best match is, we did this on Busted Open. Actually, the best match of the week leading up to last Sunday was FTR against Wheeler Yuta and Claudio Castagnoli.
Yeah, BCC versus FTR, fantastic.
That was the start of Collision, and it was like, wow, 20-minute draw, but never mind about the finish. The match was fantastic. It was so house show. The pacing of it was so house show, and it was just those two were just battling to the point where. Also part of news and notes about Dax being out.
Yeah. So that's the crazy part. You watch that match and then think about how much pain Dax is in. And he said after the match he couldn't stand.
He's been hurt for so long. He's wrestled like 4 or 5 matches in excruciating pain. The man is a psychopath.
Yes.
Hey, Gabe. Didn't need a doctor to know that he was hurt. We saw that he was hurt. Yeah. Like the doctor's like, I didn't know. We knew. You ever see him wrestle? He could barely
and then like
move.
the belt also, like the extra belt.
It's so funny. Like the doctor's like, wow, you got a problem with your back and your shoulder. You ever see him wrestle? He looks like he's in pain.
And by the way, so he announced FTR just off the road completely. Cash doesn't want to try the singles thing?
I thought that was weird. I thought that was weird. I'm like, so you're hurt, Dax. So that means Cash can't wrestle?
Right.
Okay. So I get hurt. Does GKW just go black?
Shut it down. Shut it down.
Months. Just no. So long. That's it.
I've got your back, JHood, that if you go down, we all go down.
That's right.
That doesn't make any sense. Someone has to do the show. Same thing with FTR. Like, I'm sorry, I'm injured like this. I'm sorry, I didn't tell the doctor, so FTR's off the road. The whole tactic, like everybody.
It's not the 80s. You guys can split up for a little bit. Some matches I had: Impact, NXT, Roxanne Perez, Jordynne Grace. The ending was sort of but watching Battleground for that, like, really good match between those two. Also from NXT Battleground, Oba, he's big. He is talented. I've seen him a couple times at Battlegrounds. I don't actually watch every week. They're doing something right with that fellow there. And then my last one, the 6-man from last night, Fletcher, Roddy, Takeshita versus Orange, O'Reilly, and Briscoe. And Kyle Fletcher getting the pin was actually sort of surprising.
And nobody's over.
We decided, are we just skipping over Rey Fenix and Ospreay? We don't want to talk about that anymore?
We're waiting on you.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was good.
We want you to talk about it.
What do you mean you thought it was good?
Yeah, it was good.
Like, again, like the way that Rey Fenix manages to come up with new moves every time, like the dude is just so smooth. And like there was one that was right on cue where like Taz is just gushing about him, and then he hits just the smoothest springboard frog splash you've ever seen. Where he does like the sunset flip into that wasn't the cleanest, but they still pulled it off. The sunset flip into a German suplex. Like, again, it's you could put those two on TV every week for 6 months, and they're going to come up with something new every time. It lived up to the hype. Like the second that you knew that Phoenix won and he was going to be facing Ospreay for that international championship, you knew it was going to be special, and it was special.
That's what we're waiting on. And the most disappointing match, there's a lot of disappointing matches. I thought I was getting more from Carmelo Hayes and LA Knight. And I just, for all the build, for those
I
just thought I was going to get a little bit more. It's what it was.
But that feels like that's on you. Like LA Knight's sort of shown you what he is in the ring.
But Carmelo Hayes, that's the reason to watch.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's what I expected. And so
Carmelo's been disappointing on the main roster.
Yeah, a little bit.
He hasn't, like, again, he was somebody that when he came up, again, I don't watch a ton of NXT, but when you see, the NXT PLEs, okay, here we go. This is somebody. Like his first match against Cody should have been a match of the week. It was brutal.
Yeah.
It was ugly.
That spot was something.
Yeah, you mean when they both dove just into air?
Yes,
Him
it
versus
was
Cody?
different. I hadn't seen that one before.
Yeah. Again, maybe that's a good thing.
Right.
Ray Phoenix does things every week you've never seen. That was something I had never seen before.
Right.
Again, it seemed more like a botch, and the timing was
okay.
off. But, like, I just haven't seen it from him since he's been on the main roster. It's kind of been sad.
Probably should have been a babyface because I already know who Austin Theory and Grayson Waller is. He's acting like them. That doesn't make him special.
Yeah.
No.
Makes sense? I mean, for a young, arrogant guy, unless he's going to be part of a faction with those two, and now it looks like those two are breaking up. If you've been watching very closely.
Yeah, who's going to be the face there? And who wants to see that?
Can they both be Jannetty?
They are. There was no thought put into Carmelo Hayes, though. Like, this guy was apparently, because, we don't watch, he was the cat's ass in NXT.
He's amazing in NXT. I loved watching him in NXT anytime I would watch them.
Probably should be a babyface because that would separate him from being the same as any other young punk that comes in there like Waller and Austin Theory, because it's the same creative, actually. Right. So
yeah.
So guys, I'll be at TNA Against All Odds reporting on Friday to see what that's all about, and of course we got Clash of the Castle as well. That's going to be fun on Saturday.
Yep.
Should be fun. Right now, I believe both Sami Zayn and Damian Priest are underdogs. The only champions on that card. Again, only 5 matches, but both of those guys are underdogs, and the favorite is the challenger coming into those matches. So worth keeping an eye on because you could get a couple of changes on a Saturday afternoon wherever you're watching, or maybe if you watch it back. Because again, WWE's made it perfectly clear they're cool if you watch it back, because they think people are doing that with some of these odd times that some of these PLEs have indeed been on. But one thing's for sure, no matter what, we're going to talk about it next week. Make sure you subscribe. Check us out on YouTube. All the different videos we've got going on. If you're listening to the podcast, we do a video portion of this. Check it out, youtube.com/@GoodKarmaWrestling to get all our opinions of everything happening each and every week. And maybe, who knows, Curry Man will be back here next week as well.